In the previous video, I walked through the implementation of the first React coding challenge, implementing this header here. As I said, the implementation was rather basic and I would like to improve it now. As you can see, all the components for the header are included in the index.jsx file, which is the home page of the application. This is okay for now, but typically the header will be shared with other pages as well. So the first thing we can do is extract the component to a different file. Second, you can see that the whole application is written with TypeScript, but this file is still a JSX file. So the second step will be that we convert it to TypeScript. And finally, we have Cypress tests, so we can actually test this component. Let's start by extracting the component to a separate file. This is everything the header needs. So the file structure is a features-based file structure, and all the general UI components are here in the UI feature. So let's create a new folder. This will be header. So here we'll create a file header.tsx. This is TypeScript already. We'll just paste the content here for now, and then create an index.tsx file. This one simply exports the header from the header file, the header component. This one still has to be created. This index.tsx file might seem a bit useless, but I think it's nice practice. This way you can just import from the header folder directly, and this file also defines what components are exported. Often this is referred to as the public API of the component. So let's continue. First, let's create a component called header. Return all the JSX here. And now this. Okay. We want to export this, so we can re-export it here from the TSX. You see the arrows gone here already. And now let's use these components here. Okay, and I guess we actually need this in the index.jsx file, so let's re-edit here. So now we have a duplicate name here. We can just, I don't know, name this header container for now. It's not the best name, I guess, but we'll do for now. So let's see, something is still missing here. I get an error. All right, yeah. Okay, so Pretty already formatted this for me. And now let's run the changes. Actually, I forgot to create a new branch. So typically you want to work on feature branches, and as you can see, this is still the branch from the previous task, the previous video. And as you can see here, I merged this already on GitHub. So what can we do now? First, I will stash all changes, include untracked. So now all state changes are stashed. Now I can check out the main branch. You can see that there are some commits because I merged the branch on GitHub. So let's pull. And now let's check out a new branch. And this one will be landing page header refactoring. Okay, so now I can unstash, and they should be here again. Perfect. Then let's run the development server. And here we don't see anything because the header is not rendered. Okay, that's expected. So now we can header, doesn't find it yet. I'm not sure if we have, yeah, we have a index.ts file here in the UI as well. So let's export everything from the header here as well. It's a bit cumbersome, and I'm not sure if this really scales, but for now I like this. So because we can simply import, let's see, import header from, I guess it's called features. I have set up path aliases, UI, and then that should be it. So let's see, this compile, yeah. Okay, so this file is already a lot cleaner. We only have the header and the contact button here. So let's create a commit. This is extract header to UI feature. Okay, so commit this. Now we extracted the header component to a separate file, but we still have a mixture of like 2 rem, for example, here, or 1280 pixel. Let's try to refactor this a bit. So in rem units, our base font size is 16 pixels, so this would be 80 rem. Then 80 pixel would be 5 rem. The padding here is 2 rem, and so on. Now we could continue like this, but we also have a theme file that we can use together with styled components. So this file is here inside styles and theme. You can see here a few types, and we actually have this space variables here, colors as well, and here we can see that we have the spaces. So 5 rem, this would be 8, and 20 would be 5 rem. These are the two that we can use for the height and the padding. So how do we access them? The app, I guess it is, yes, is wrapped with a theme provider from style components, and this theme object is passed to it here. So how can we access the theme? You can see that style components uses template literals here, and we can simply access the theme by using this function here. So this would be props and props.theme, and now we would have spacing, I guess, and then let's see, it's not spacing, so we have color space and then one of these numbers here, so space, and now we would use, see, 8 and 20, right? 8, no, 20 here, and then here's the 8. Now I found this to be quite cumbersome, so I implemented a few utility functions here. We can use them to access the variables, the theme variables, much easier. So we can simply use space and then 20. So now this is a lot cleaner. Now here as well, we can simply use space and then 8. Or we can actually also do like this, and we have the normal padding. So where do these numbers actually come from? In the React Job Simulator, like in many jobs, we have Figma designs here, and we also have a theme. This theme contains some spacing, and I simply use the names of the space here. So 25 rem, 80 pixels. This is what we use for the header, and yeah, I basically just added these as the names for the space here. I'm not sure if this is ideal. As you can see, it's kind of hard to convert the pixel into the number here, but yeah, maybe there's a better solution for the future. But for now, this looks pretty similar to your normal padding declaration. Here, space, this is top, bottom, and this is left, right. So let's see where we can use this as well. So I guess this one is the same. And here 16 pixel, this is similar, but 1, so 1 rem, 4. We have the colors here. Padding 18 pixel. So this is a bit weird because we don't have this in our style guide. 44 pixel, let's see. This would be 2.75 rem. We also don't have this in our style guide, so yeah, I'm not sure. We should probably talk to the designer about this. We can do like this now. And 18 is, let's see, 1.125 rem. So border radius, I guess this can be constant, and the line height to will be the same as the height, just to center the text. So this looks already a bit better. We still have the colors here, so let's see what kind of colors we have. Here, I guess white is used in the application simply as white. And we have different colors as well. So this one here, for example, let's see, we have to replace this with gray 500. So let's do that. We have a similar function as space. So color and then gray. You can see TypeScript actually has some autocomplete here, and then this was 500, I guess. Yeah. And here, this one, this is primary 600. So let's add that as well. Color, primary, and 600. Okay. Now let's create a commit and call this use theme in header component. Okay, and finally, let's continue with the Cypress tests. You can see that we already have some tests here, and we can probably copy paste from them quite a bit. So let's open this one to the side and add one here for landing page spec.ts. That's the naming convention. I will actually open this here. So the way we do that here is we have a describe at the top. This describes the test suite. So this is our landing page. Then we add a function callback here. And then inside the before each, this function is called before each test is executed. So this is a good way to, for example, visit the page. And we will do that HTTP localhost. So we will test against the local version. This means that we always have to run the development server here in order to run the tests. We could also test for the live version. This would be called an end-to-end test then. But for us, this should be enough. So we have this piece here, context desktop resolution. So we can wrap tests into like this context wrapper and group them together. Here we basically just set the viewport to ensure that we have desktop resolution. The header that we are currently developing in this challenge only has a desktop design. There's a mobile design in the React Job Simulator as well. So if you're interested in continuing to build this, feel free to sign up. But yeah, so for now, we will just create a new test case, run this header. And now you can see that we have some commands here. So let's start something simple. So the selector here could be header. This is what we wrapped around our header, so this should be a good entry point for our test. Now let's run Cypress. When you check the package.json file, you can see that we have a few commands here, and Cypress open is one of them. Cypress comes with a nice UI. You can see that here is actually a browser window where we can see the header being rendered. And we can also see that the test is passing. So this just means that this get header call worked. We can already see one problem. This seems to be a fixed height for the header. So it's not responsive. Let's quickly fix that. So here in the header, you can see we have a width here. Let's change that to max width and make the width 100%. So this looks already much better. Now, what do we want to test? We basically have 4 links here, and this is also a link, so we can simply test those. Let's open this one again. Now let's test the first link. We can run the contains command and then, for example, get the home link and then click it. I don't think this will do a lot because home is on the same URL as we went to before. So maybe we can actually test the next link, products, and then we can use CYURL and should equal, and then I guess this will be HTTP localhost and then products. Let's see. The test reruns. And yes. So this page isn't implemented, but yeah, we have the products here. So let's see. This is actually not the renders header test anymore, but the products link. So now we can duplicate this test a bit. Documentation link. Link works, and then we use the documentation and this one, and then we have the pricing, I guess. So pricing, and this should also lead to pricing. Let's see. So now we have 3 tests. Okay, cool. And then finally, we have this open dashboard link. So let's test that as well. Dashboard, let's call it button, because it looks like a button. Dashboard, and this should lead to dashboard. And yes, perfect. So here you can see the dashboard page. The application is an error tracking tool similar to Sentry or Rollbar, and this has a few pages already, but you can work on this in the React Job Simulator if you like to. Okay, so I think there was the last test missing, the homepage link, and we can simply duplicate this test again, clean up a bit here, and home link works. So this one, as I said, we can't really test with a click currently, but we can hopefully, let's see, have attribute, then href, and then this should be a link to the homepage. Let's see if this works. Okay, perfect. So here we can see it gets the home, and then this seems to be a link with the attribute href and slash. Okay, I think this is enough for this exercise. We still have the JSX file here, but I think we can leave that for now. It's relatively simple to transform that into a TypeScript file. To finish this exercise, let's create the commit here quickly. Actually, we had two things that we did. So we make the header responsive, make header responsive, and then we have the Cypress test, add test for header. Now let's publish the branch. Head back to our repository, create a pull request. So landing page header refactoring. Let's add a bit of information here. To component and UI feature. Then make header responsive and add Cypress test. Okay, let's create the pull request. So now the CI pipeline runs. It will run the new and the old Cypress test, also ESLint and Prettier and other tools like this. We have to wait for this like a few minutes. In the meantime, we can already request a code review from our bot here. The bot approves, no surprise here. Yeah, and then once the CI pipeline passes, we can squash and merge this feature. As mentioned, this challenge and a few others are part of the React Job Simulator. If you want to check that out, head to profile.dev and see the landing page here.